Happy New Year. It's good to be back. What a crazy day today has been. Well, the phone I've been doing all my content on finally broke. As I was testing out the subject of this video, this guy right here, it's been cleared. I'll clear it again for the camera. I was setting it up to film and it went flying and hit a 22 shell casing and shattered the screen. Previous to that, the whole reason I went to the range, well, not the whole reason, I was test driving my car because I had to go out and spend $50 on a set of spark plugs because it turns out the ones I had in the car were fake. So those only lasted since May. Brand new coils and spark plugs off eBay. I look up at the ratings and the reviews. They're labeled as genuine Honda. No, they're fake. So to the subject matter, I purchased this off eBay. It was used, but it was never fired. So basically it's brand new, it was opened. The whole reason I ordered it from eBay was because originally what I wanted to do was order the commander size slide for this Tisas B45 Carry lower. So I had the original slide. It's actually made an appearance in a previous video. I bought this as a Tisas 1911. It was having an issue with the last round going into battery, and even if you tried to tap it and force in the battery, it was sticking. So my buddy and I, we went down the barrel of the 45 with a bore scope, and we determined that not these grip panels, but the ones that I replaced it with, the ones that allow me to add a front accessory rail, they were flexing, allowing the magazine to go up a little bit higher. So rather than put this conversion on a gun that I want to shoot as a 45, I use this, the B45 Carry. And as you can see at the range, it's all ammo issues, so that'll be a reoccurring theme. However, it did function very well. And I don't feel bad using this as a dedicated slide or frame for the slide because the gun itself wasn't that great anyway. As you can see here, I was misinformed and I was told that the slide itself is long enough to accommodate the dust cover here, but I have a little bit of a gap, which is okay for indoors and for any non-serious, just target shooting. Not much is going to really get in there, but ideally I would want a full size 5-inch frame with a longer dust cover. $300 approximately for this slide off eBay. On the website, it's about $379 new. It comes with a different Picatinny style or tack rail, and I inquired on getting that rail, and they wanted about $125, which isn't worth it to me. So I may adapt something on here. Overall, my range experience with this today, first time shooting it, the sights are going to need some adjustment. It has a fully adjustable rear Glock style sight, which is interesting. Glock style front dot sight. I may want to upgrade that. I do explain about this in the video more. One thing I wanted to show, because not a lot of people on YouTube have gone over this. You got this little wrench. What it does is it goes on the front like that, and you tighten it clockwise. What that does, right here you've got this pin, which is free from the slide release here. The idea of this pin is it goes through, and this guide rod goes all the way down, tightens, and butts up against the pin. So then the slide release can move freely, because obviously there's a pin putting force back on this. So overall, I like the look of this. It has a static top rail, being the target model. I originally ordered this off Optics Planet. I'm not going to give them too much of a hard time, because I've gotten some good parts from Optics Planet for cheap. Their shipping has really improved from what I've seen online. I'm not going to give them too much of a hard time. I will say this: they won't ship any kind of magazine, even if it's legal for your state. 10-round mag that comes with these is legal for my state, but they won't ship the slide, because it comes with a magazine. So I took a little bit of a hit on the price. It would have been $258 for the commander size slide from their website with free shipping, or $299 for the new version of this with the tactical rail. Unfortunately, they wouldn't ship it, so I missed out on that. I'm not going to be paying the $125 for that rail, but I did want to make a video on this conversion, because I think it's a great tool to save money on ammo, and well worth putting on one of your lowers. If you have one that's laying around, you're not shooting it, definitely pick one of these up. So let's get into the video. You've heard enough of my jibber jabber. It was a bit of a bad day, but it's never a bad day when you get to shoot. Shot indoors, and it was nice, not freezing. So before I set up and started filming, this is the first 3 magazines through the conversion. Up here, I had a nice group, a little bit all over the place. These were the first 2 magazines. I adjusted down with the sight and to the right, and I found myself getting within here. And then I feel like the sight moved again, because the previous magazine I was shooting here, I loaded up a couple and ended up shooting all up here and right here. So off camera, I have adjusted the rear sight. I have 3 mags. I'm going to take my time with the 3 mags I have left. I can always come back to the range, and then we're going to see if that made any difference. I did bring out the Colt. That was fun. But the focus of this video is this 22 conversion, so I'm not going to get into that. I've already done that previously. As I mentioned before, the lower is a Tisas B45 Carry. I got the Advantage Arms target slide, so you can see here the action moves separately from the top rail, which has these quasi Glock sights from the factory. What's pretty cool is the cover here on the injection port. Now you got a full-length guide rod. The way this goes on, there's a little tool that grabs onto here on the guide rod. Your slide goes onto the frame like normal. This lever here comes with the kit. The pin goes through and captures the barrel lug, the swivel, there's no swivel in here, which is different than a standard 1911 where the swivel is connected to the barrel. This is connected to the whole piece. That's what's holding it in. Just that. Then you come up front, you can see the gap here, as I mentioned before, with the frame not being a full-size frame. Still functions well. I wouldn't want that outside though, in the elements. Then in the front here, you got this hexagonal guide rod. And what that does is it goes all the way down and tightens itself to this bolt, this pin. So essentially, the lever goes in, holds the slide in place, the pin goes through, holds the barrel in place, and this guide rod tightens down through the swivel and latches onto the pin. So that's why it's a two-piece, so that this lever can go up and down while the pin serves as a stop for the guide rod. Being a 22, you don't want to drop the hammer ever on the firing pin without a snap cap or something in there. I want to say this is 25 feet, not yards, feet. So I'm going to set up. Firstly, I'll show you the mag. The mag comes with a bar, and you grab it like so, pull it down, and you can put your rounds in. Off the record, it holds 11, but it doesn't shoot reliably with 11. So on the record, only load it up with 10 if you want it to shoot properly. Trying my best to keep this pointed down range, even though I'm not around anybody and I'm by myself. You always want to practice proper gun safety. I think it looks pretty nifty. Got the bob cut. Let's put a few downrange and see where I'm able to hit. Well, YouTube, I shattered my phone screen. Obviously, I can't show you that. I'm not going to let that stop me. Well, this is going to be the last video from this phone. Anyways, let's get to shooting anyway. All right, couple mags through. Not that great. Shooting high. First shot was real high. So I think that my grouping was decent. I need to dial in. I got one more mag, and I think because I smashed my screen by dropping the phone, my shooting's a little off. Why not use one of these stickers? Try and dial in this last mag. Take it real slow and see what we get. Well, I need some more practice, but that was one-handed for the video. I can tell this thing wants to be a tack driver, and it will get there. Well, I'll sweep up my mess and get out of here. Right at the play button is where my phone smashed.